This is Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish, Lección número 6. Past tense in the preterite form. You have already learned that if you are speaking of yourself, you must end the verb in e. Ejemplos: preparé, tomé, visité, invité. When speaking of anybody but yourself, singular, not we, you must end verbs in the letter o. Ejemplos: Roberto preparó la lección. Robert prepared the lesson. El doctor tomó un taxi. The doctor took a taxi. El general visitó al presidente. The general visited the president. ¿Preparó usted la cena? Did you prepare dinner? Remember then that if you speak of yourself, you must end the verb in e, and if you speak of anyone else, singular, you must end the verb in o. This is easy to remember if you say a kind of jingle to yourself. E for me, o for others. But just one other, not like they, just he, she, or you. In order to help you connect the letter O with everything and everybody in the world, except yourself, I have devised a figure which I call the third man. Every time the third man appears before a verb, you can be sure that the verb must certainly end in the letter O. Allow me to present the third man. Ta-da! The third man is really a figure of a sleeping man wearing a sombrero. The figure has been drawn in the shape of a number 3 and will appear in the rest of the lessons like this. This little guy. The third man is a versatile fellow. He represents everything and everybody in the world except you. When speaking of a star, a flower, a table, Julius Caesar, or your Aunt Sarah, you must use the third man form. That is, you must end the verb in the letter O. You already know hundreds and hundreds of verbs in English that are also Spanish verbs if you change them very slightly. Again, sorry about my puppies barking. I should have done this during nap time. Visité and invité are like the English verbs visited and invited with the letter D dropped. There are a great many verbs in English that can be changed into Spanish in the same way. Following is a list of these verbs that you can learn virtually at a glance. Notice the little drawing of the third man before every third man form below. I'm ready to bend this other way, but I can't. Sorry. Usé, usó. Voté, votó. Invité, invitó. Importé, importó. Copié, copió. Curé, curó. Examiné, examinó. Noté, notó. Presenté, presentó. Comparé, comparó. Combiné, combinó. Causé, causó. Deposité, depositó. Insulté, insultó. Planté, plantó. Patenté, patentó. Cancelé, canceló. Continué, continuó. There are other verbs that are slightly different from their English equivalents, but that are still very easy to recognize and learn. Recomendé, recomendó. Progresé, progresó. Anticipé, anticipó. Acepté, aceptó. Cultivé, cultivó. Dicté, dictó. Expresé, expresó. Celebré, celebró. Estudié, estudió. Fotografié, fotografió. Confesé, confesó. Tosté, tostó. Pasé, pasó. I can't say that today. Cooperé, cooperó. Then, there are a great number of verbs that are rarely used in everyday speech in English, but that are common everyday words in Spanish. Comencé, comenzó. Terminé, terminó. Felicité, felicitó. Molesté, molestó. That means bother, not molested. We're not being weird here. Entré, entró. Estacioné, estacionó. Saludé, saludó. As you can see by all the preceding material in the book, there is a great similarity between English and Spanish. This is of tremendous advantage to you, for it will help you to learn very quickly. But you must press this advantage and give your imagination encouragement. Try to guess the meaning of every Spanish word you encounter. Make up words and sentences. In other words, let yourself go. Now let's see how the third man form is used. I voted is voté. But if you wish to say that anyone else in the world voted, you must use the third man form to form votó. El presidente votó. The president voted. El doctor votó. El dentista votó. Mi papá votó. Mi mamá votó. El profesor votó. Roberto votó. Each one of these persons voted. If you wish to ask a question, invert the word order. Verb first, and then the subject. ¿Votó el presidente? Did the president vote? ¿Votó el general? Did the general vote? ¿Votó el actor? ¿Votó el profesor? ¿Votó usted? ¿Votó el dentista? Words to remember. Y, de, el dinero, el banco, el pan, el automóvil, espárragos, María, el rancho, el grupo, el drama, el teléfono, el vocabulario, el radio, en Juan. Below I have written some sentence for you to translate into English. If you come upon a sentence which you feel you cannot translate, study it and make a wild stab at a translation. You will find that you are almost invariably right in your guess. After you have written out all the sentences in English, check with the correct translation below the exercise. So you can translate them and look at it beyond. I'm going to read these so you can hear it pronounced. You will find a personal after verbs which are followed by a person's. By a person. Uno. Invité a un amigo a mi casa anoche. 2. Roberto visitó a un amigo en Cuba. 3. Mamá preparó la cena anoche. 4. El presidente aceptó la invitación. 5. Terminé la composición para la clase. 6. María estudió la lección esta mañana. 7. Roberto tomó la cena en un restaurante. 8. El doctor tomó una aspirina. Or because some of the kids in my class asked what an aspirin was, because they're kids and they don't take aspirin, you could change aspirina to medicina for medicine. 9. Usé el vocabulario en la clase. 10. Alexander Graham Bell invitó el teléfono. 11. Don Ameche no inventó el teléfono. 12. Marconi inventó el radio. 13. Copié la lección anoche. 14. El profesor tomó una Pepsi Cola. 15. El agente importó perfume de Francia. 16. Mi mamá visitó a un amigo en el hospital. 17. Tomé espárragos. 18. Estacioné mi automóvil. 19. Mi padre recomendó a su amigo. 20. El general entró en la capital. 21. El ministro preparó el sermón para la congregación. It's a tongue twister. 22. Mi cliente importó café de Costa Rica. 23. Tosté el pan para los sándwiches. 24. Juan entró en el hotel y saludó a su amigo. 25. El mecánico lubricó el automóvil en el garaje. 26. Mi amigo cultivó café en el rancho. 27. El grupo presentó un drama. 28. El profesor felicitó al estudiante. 29. 29. ¿Votó usted esta mañana? 30. El doctor curó al paciente. 31. 31. Not 31. 31. Deposité dinero en el banco esta mañana. 32. ¿Copió usted la composición? 33. ¿Estudió usted la lección para la clase? 34. ¿Aceptó usted la invitación? 35. Mi padre invitó a Juan al cine. 36. Juan aceptó la invitación. 37. Edison invitó el fonógrafo. So here are the translations. You can check your work. And we'll go down here to the bottom. Now, if you feel ambitious and want to try your hand at a more difficult task, translate the English sentences back into Spanish. You have learned 40 new verbs in this lesson. Use them and enjoy them. You will find that you can make up hundreds of sentences with them. Use the following nouns to fill in the blanks in the sentences below. I'm going to use quién, which means who, but you can put each of these in here and then practice your sentences. ¿Quién aceptó la invitación? Who accepted the invitation? ¿Quién tomó la cena en el club? Who had dinner at the club? ¿Quién depositó dinero en el banco? Who deposited money in the bank? ¿Quién visitó a un amigo? Who visited a friend? ¿Quién invitó a Roberto a la fiesta? Who invited Robert to the party? The end for now. Maybe.